Greetings. Welcome to our e-learning module on effective expense management and reimbursement. In this session, we will explore the importance of managing expenses in nonprofit organizations, best practices for expense tracking, and how to streamline reimbursement processes to ensure financial accountability and transparency. Expense management plays a crucial role in ensuring financial accountability and transparency within your organization. It helps control costs, supports budgeting, and ensures accurate financial reporting, all of which are key for the financial health of a nonprofit. There are 9 components of effective expense management: expense categories, policies and procedures, reimbursement process, receipt retention, approval processes, using technology for expense management, staff training, monitoring and reporting, and audit and compliance. Nonprofits typically incur a range of expenses, including travel and accommodation, office supplies, equipment, program-related costs, and expenses related to training and development. Accurately tracking these expenses is essential to maintain financial controls. Categorizing expenses into direct, indirect, and capital expenditures helps streamline your budgeting and tracking processes. This structure allows you to easily monitor spending and make more informed financial decisions. Direct expenses are costs directly tied to specific programs, projects, or services, such as program supplies, staff salaries for program work, and event costs. Indirect expenses are overhead costs shared across the organization, like rent, utilities, and administrative staff salaries. Capital expenditures are long-term investments in assets such as buildings, equipment, or technology that provide benefits over several years. Let's clarify the difference between expenses and expenditures. Expenses are short-term costs recorded on the statement of activities, like utilities and salaries, which keep the organization running day to day. In contrast, expenditures refer to one-time purchases that add long-term value, such as equipment or property, and are recorded on the statement of financial position rather than expensed at the full purchase cost immediately. Well-defined expense management policies provide a framework for clear guidelines and approval procedures. It's important to regularly review and update these policies to stay current with organizational needs. Best practice is to develop and distribute a comprehensive expense policy document to ensure everyone understands the process. Here is a sample expense reimbursement policy. As part of your duties, you may need to cover certain job-related costs upfront. Any eligible expenses will be fully reimbursed. Qualifying expenses include business travel, conference fees, accommodations, office supplies, software needed for work, and professional certification or membership fees. This list is not exhaustive, so always seek supervisor approval before incurring any expenses. In this sample procedure, the organization reimburses out-of-town travel at federal or state per diem rates for lodging, meals, and incidentals. Mileage is reimbursed based on the current IRS rates. Receipts are required for all expenses, except those covered under per diem and small cash tips under $10. Submit all travel reimbursements through the web portal for approval by the finance director or executive director. Receipts are also needed for any business-related purchases like supplies and equipment. Let's take a closer look at common expenses, starting with travel. All travel must be pre-approved, and it's recommended to use preferred vendors for lodging and transportation. Set per diem allowances for meals, and require a detailed itinerary and travel justification for each trip to maintain transparency and accountability. For office supplies and equipment, it's important to establish approval thresholds for large purchases and to utilize bulk purchasing agreements to reduce costs. Centralizing the ordering process also helps maintain oversight and control. Program-related expenses should always align with the budget for each program or project. Tracking these expenses by program ensures that financial reports are accurate and program funding is spent appropriately. Regularly review program budgets to ensure compliance. When it comes to professional development, pre-approval for training expenses is key. Encourage staff to seek out opportunities for professional growth and reimburse them for courses and certifications that are relevant to their roles. The steps for reimbursement are straightforward and designed for efficiency. First, employees must submit an expense report along with all required receipts. Next, the report goes through the necessary approval process, typically starting with the direct manager and then moving to the finance team. Finally, the approved reimbursement is processed either through payroll or accounts payable. To streamline this process, we use standardized expense report forms and set clear submission timelines, ensuring timely and accurate reimbursements for all employees. Expense report forms should include employee information, a description of the expenses, attached receipts, and the necessary approval signatures. Using a standardized template ensures uniformity and accuracy across the organization. Retaining receipts is essential for providing proof of expenditure, facilitating audits, and supporting reimbursement processes. Best practices include retaining receipts for a specific period, usually around 7 years, and using digital receipt management tools to organize them efficiently. Receipts should include key details like the date of purchase, vendor name, an itemized list of purchased items, and the total amount paid. To ensure compliance, make sure all receipts are legible and complete for auditing and reimbursement purposes. When a receipt is missing or unavailable, employees should complete a missing receipt form to provide the necessary purchase details. This form should include key information such as the date of purchase, vendor name, an itemized list of items bought, and the total amount paid. Submitting a completed missing receipt form helps ensure compliance, supports accurate record keeping, and facilitates auditing and reimbursement processes. Approval processes are key to maintaining financial controls. They validate the necessity and appropriateness of expenses. Establishing approval hierarchies ensures that every expense, especially high-value ones, is reviewed by the right people, such as direct managers, the finance department, or the executive director. Leveraging technology like expense management software, such as Concur, Divvy, Expensify, or Ramp, can streamline submission and approval processes. These tools help reduce errors and minimize the risk of fraud by automating manual tasks and providing digital receipt scanning capabilities. To ensure consistent and effective expense management practices, it's important to provide regular training sessions on record keeping and expense policies. Developing comprehensive training materials helps employees understand their responsibilities and the organization's expectations. Regular monitoring ensures that expenses stay within budget, and it helps identify cost-saving opportunities. Best practices include conducting regular expense reviews and variance analysis, as well as using financial reports to guide decision-making. Auditing ensures adherence to organizational policies and regulations and helps identify potential areas for fraud or misuse. Conduct regular internal audits and ensure that all necessary records are maintained to prepare for external audits. Common challenges in expense management include missing receipts, delayed submissions, and unauthorized expenses. Solutions include providing thorough training on expense policies, enforcing strict submission deadlines, and maintaining a clear approval process to reduce errors and streamline workflow. Implementing expense management practices helps your organization maintain compliance, reduce the risk of duplicate or fraudulent payments, and gain the visibility needed for efficient reimbursement and data-driven decision-making. Thank you all for viewing this e-learning module. Have a wonderful day.